It is time, once again, for our good,
our bad,
subscribe,
and our brainless.
Yeah.
So, Cousin Jay, what do you got for your good this week?
My good goes out to Cody Rhodes. There was somebody on X, formerly Twitter, who posted a picture of a girl. It looked like she had some kind of disability. Seems like the family really loves pro wrestling, doesn't have the money to go to a show. They're in the Detroit area. Cody said, I think he was either tagged or ended up seeing the post and said, okay, I gotcha. I'm not going to be on that show. I'm going to actually be in Boston that night, but they're going to be in Detroit, and tickets are on me. So good on Cody Rhodes. Does not have to go out and do anything like that, but doing the building his fan base one person at a time and or strengthening their bond already to him. So good on Cody.
I love that man. He can do no wrong. I'm so happy for him. He deserves all the good things. I hope he eventually finishes his story and becomes WWE champion because he deserves it.
Yeah.
My good for this week, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna sing it. Very, very, very nice, very nice, very nice, very, very, very nice, very evil. Danhausen returned. There is nothing that was better in wrestling this week.
Yeah.
I am so happy. You have no idea. I iron sheeted myself when I saw him. Yes.
Very nice.
I watched it a handful of times too. I loved it. Great reaction. I'm so happy he's back. You have no idea how happy I am that Danhausen's back.
The Danhausen.
Not bad for a guy I didn't even know existed, and I thought he was just some weird wrestling fan that dresses up the way he did on Twitter like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know who this Danhausen is, but he's talking to CM Punk a lot. What is your bad?
I am going to go with Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella, you were very close to getting Brainless this week, but you got beaten out by somebody a bit more Brainless. But trying to take something where clearly WWE was being petty, you spent a decade and a half there, and it's got to suck where you literally give your body, she has the messed up neck that's going to be with her the rest of her life. She did play a prominent role in WWE. Total Divas and Total Bellas made the company money. You would think, if nothing else, yeah, we could mention her name. We're going to mention Blake Shelton, and they didn't have the decency to do that. But then trying to make this about they hate women. This is a sexism thing. I'm sorry, they've done the same thing to the men for far longer than they have to the women. It sucks and it is classless what they did, but you didn't need to sit there and go in the direction you did. So I guess it would be co-bad. WWE should have mentioned her. She didn't need to go where she went.
I'm surprised. I thought that was going to be your Brainless this week.
It was originally, but it was.
See, I'm going to go for my bad. I'm going to go with MJF and the bump he took. Now, I know that you mentioned in the tag team match that he had with Joe against the Ass Boys. After the match, the Ass Boys, and they beat the shit out of him and it injured his leg. And they were going to actually scrap the entire title match altogether with him and Jay White after he got ambulanced out. And then Adam Cole, baby, showed up and said, I'll do it with his one leg. That would have been enough for my bad. But the fact that MJF stole the ambulance and drove back there, stop me if you've heard that one before WWE. And then during the match, he hit a cutter that he jumped over the top rope and hit Jay White with the cutter on the outside of the ring and actually hurt his hip to the point where he needed crutches on Wednesday to get to the ring. That him and now the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions are both on crutches, which is kind of funny. If you really seriously injured your hip like that, whether you signed that monster contract extension that nobody knows about or not, it's not a smart move. I got to give it my bad because it's bad, but it's not brainless. Taking unnecessary bumps like that is just something you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
What do you got for your brainless?
Nick Hogan, brother. Dude, I hope you get your life together. I know what happened with your friend all those years ago. Like, you got to be living with some guilt. You know, even though people understand, like, people make mistakes. You know, you were driving while intoxicated then, and your friend is forever changed. And you go out, and I know it's 15 years later. It's not like it was, like, within a couple of months. But then you go out and, like, you get pulled over and you get a DUI again. Like, Dude, I hope you get yourself together, but that is my brainless this week.
That's a good choice, actually. I think that's a fantastic choice. I'm sorry, like I said earlier in this podcast, that blood spot where Hangman Page spit out Swerve Strickland's blood during that match gets my brainless because it was really unnecessary, unwarranted, unjustified, and was just really just did not need to happen. I'm already. It's bad enough that you got the bad publicity when John Moxley bleeding in every match. He had the freaking skewers in his head. You still haven't recovered from the fact that Nick Gage was cutting Chris Jericho's head open with a pizza cutter in the middle of a Papa John's or Domino's commercial.
I think it's good marketing.
I just don't think it was a necessary spot, and I think you really shouldn't have done it. And like it was just like in Dumb and Dumber. Just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber, you go and do something like this. It's like just when I thought you guys couldn't put anything else on any of your programming that would make me not want to watch your programming, and then you do a spot like this. And now I really, other than watching my favorite wrestler Danhausen wrestle, I have no other reason to watch AEW. I already don't like Hangman Page, and you guys really didn't do Swerve any suggestions. And the fact that everybody was like really on board with this because they came up with this idea. A lot of people in the backstage area were on board with it, and the guys who were that they have to ask for these spots were like, "Yeah, let's do this." No, you're not Wes Craven. You're not Stephen King. You're not any of these horrific people. You're not Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. This was not needed, and I didn't want to see it. So that's why I get my brainless for this week.
All right.
So if you like what you see, whether you are a first-time watcher or a continuous fan, make sure you like us on Facebook. Follow us on whatever the hell Elon Musk is calling Twitter these days. Follow us on Instagram and subscribe to us on YouTube at the letter T, the letter H, the letter E, the letter F, the letter N. Come on, Bristol Eastern Education, MARKSD, and Marks. If you like, follow and subscribe to us, we will do the same back. That has always been our
mantra, and make sure you set up notifications on the Facebooks and on the YouTube so that when we are live, you will be notified that we are live so you can join in and talk about our favorite sport that we all love to hate, professional wrestling. And
New York
make sure
Jets football.
And make sure you hit subscribe on our Spotify page where you can take the podcast on the road on all these different social media outlets.
Yeah?
Yeah, and that is absolutely it. That's all, folks.